guys, Lee here for another video lesson. So in this video lesson, I'm going to be showing you how to play the lead guitar part for Wonderful Tonight. So this video is predominantly for my student Don, who's just been getting into lead guitars. He's a beginner guitar player, just getting into lead guitar. So if you two are a beginner looking to get into lead guitar, I think this will be a really good place to start. Okay, so quick chat about the chords that I just used. So I just played a 4-bar chord progression. So a G for 4 beats, a D for 4 beats, a C add 9 for 4 beats, and a D for 4 beats. So I just picked through the notes, popped them into the looper pedal, and then I played the lead guitar part over the top. So if you'd like the loop that I just created, it's only a simple loop, but if you'd like it, you can download it from my website. I'll put the link below, it'll be free. But if not, if you want to record your own loop, you can just play the G for 4 beats, the D for 4 beats, the C add 9 for 4 beats, and the D for 4 beats. Okay, so on to the lead guitar part. So before we look at the specific notes and how to play them, let's first look at the underlying scale that's used to construct this solo. So the original is back here somewhere, but we're going to be playing it here because I think this is a more user-friendly area and scale position to use for this for this solo for beginner students. So the scale then looks a little bit like this. So we're going to start with pinky here on the 15th fret. And then we're going to play through just like this. And then backwards. So I'm not sure if you can hear that, but that's somebody smashing my door down. So I'm just going to answer that and I'll be back. All right, sorry about that. That was my daughter and my wife going out without keys. Okay, so the scale that we wanted again was, it's the G major pentatonic. So we're going to play that like so, pinky on the 15th fret of the low E string. Then I'm going to play through the rest of it like this. So notice there I started on the lowest note of the scale, played to the highest note in the scale, then back to the lowest note, and then back to the lowest root note. So let me rephrase that. I start on the lowest root note in the scale, up to the highest note in the scale, back to the lowest note in the scale, and then finish back up on the lowest root note. One more time. Okay, so that's the scale that we're going to be using. Now we do have one note that isn't in this scale that we're going to be adding because that note is used in the solo. So that note is going to be fret number 13 on the B string just there. So if I play the scale again but add this note here, I'm going to get this. Okay. So I'd recommend you practice the scale up and down, become familiar with it. And then from there, we can go ahead and take a look at the notes used in the solo. So I'll play up to the first note that we need. So I'm gonna, that's the first note where we're gonna be starting here. So fret 14 on the G string, okay? So this note here, I'm gonna be playing a bend and release, which will sound like this. Okay? So what I'm doing there, I'm bending the note up as high as that note there. So that's 14, that's 12, and I'm bending it to that note. So don't overbend like this, and don't underbend like this. We want to make sure we get to that note, up and down. So bend up, and then release, keep the pressure on the way down. So make sure you're keeping the pressure on the way up, but also on the way down to get that release. So I'm not going to go too in depth in regards to the technique of bending. I've got another video for that. I'll link below, so you can check that out if you want to get into, you know, if you want to kind of fine tune your bending technique. So once you've played that there, the bend up and the down, we're then going to go back to fret 12 here, and then back to 14 here, all on the G string. Then we're going to add a little bit of vibrato just there. So vibrato is a bit different to bending, but kind of similar-ish. So it's just basically a bunch of small bends on the same string, just like that. Just to add a little bit of sweetness. So somebody once said to me, just wiggle the note until it sounds good. So I don't have a video up at the moment on vibrato, but when I do get one up, I'll link it in the below, so keep a little lookout, okay? All right, so once you've got that there, that's the first phrase. I'll play that again. So we've got a bend up and a down on the G, back to 14, sorry, back to 12, and then back to 14 there. Okay, once you've got that there, onto the second phrase, we're going to do exactly the same thing, but the last note that we play is not going to be 14 on the G, it's going to be 14 on the D. So I'm going to play the bend up and release. Then I'm going to go back to fret 12 there, and then 14 on the D just there. So the first two phrases, we've got this, then, and the third phrase, I'm going to basically repeat the first phrase, which is this, but rather than adding vibrato on that 14th fret there, I'm going to move down to 12 on the B, 13 on the B, 12 on the high E, the first string, and then back to 15 on the B, vibrato. So that third phrase was, so I did add vibrato on that last little, on that 14th fret then. Don't need to do that, we can just play. We want vibrato on the last note. So that all together then, phrase 1, 2, and 3 is going to sound like this. That's phrase 1. That's phrase 2. That's phrase 3. Okay guys, and that there is how to play Wonderful Tonight, the lead guitar part at least. So give it a go, hope you have fun, and I'll see you all again next time. All right, cheers now, bye-bye.